folks, thanks for joining me today. So today's tutorial we're going to be using a mold number 2 from the Happy Dotting Company, and I am priming this with Crisp Blue by DecoArt. This is not my usual. I usually prime everything with black, but this time I wanted it to be the blue color. So the bottom is black, you just can't see it, and I did that off camera, but I wanted to do this a nice blue color, and I'm going to be playing around with this background a little bit. So I want to get a nice good base coat, and then I'm going to let it dry completely. So I let it sit overnight, and now I'm coming in with the same blue color, so it's a second coat, because I need some wet paint so that I can do the effect that I want to do. So I put on, like I said, this crisp blue, and now I dipped it into white. So this is a totally different finger sponge, so that I could get the best color of white, and then I'm just blending it in with that wet blue paint that's already on the stone, and I'm getting this gradient effect. So it's really light in the middle, and then I bring it out to the dark color out to the edge, and I do this all the way around. This is where that little lazy Susan comes in handy, because I can really turn the stone while I am sponging on the color, and I really liked that because it gives it more even. I'm not so good with just doing it flat on a surface and then turning it, but using this lazy Susan really helps. As you can tell, I've used it quite a bit. It's very colorful, and it still works, and I love it. So now what I'm doing is I'm just using white paint while this other paint is still wet, and I'm just painting on circles, and I'm not worried about them being exact. I'm not worried about them being perfect, or if they're going to be pure white. I want them to mix in with the colors that's already on the rock, but I'm just doing it on the outside. So this is going to sort of make it look or give the feeling that it is wintertime, and maybe like the wind is blowing, and these are the swirls, I guess, of the wind. But that's what I really wanted, was to get it to be looking like it's wintertime. Now I'm going to sketch on my little guy that I'm going to paint here, and it's going to be a penguin. So I'm sure if you saw the thumbnail, you'll know what the finished product looks like. But I was recently at a craft show, and one of the people that were walking by had asked if I had any penguins, and I said I did not. So she asked if I could paint her one. So this is what I am doing. This was a request, and so I'm going to paint it up for her. And I'm really pleased on how it turned out. It was very simple and easy to do, just with a little bit of blending and very minimal amount of colors. So basically, all that I used is black and white, obviously, for the penguin, but I mixed some of the black and white together to get myself a gray color, and you'll see that a little bit later. And that gray color is what I used for doing the beak and for doing any shadowing that I wanted to do on the penguin itself. And then obviously I've already told you about the crisp blue that's in the background, but I did mute it a little bit because I put all that white on it. And then a couple of other colors I used was Spiced Pumpkin for his feet. And then I used some Poddleskirt pink for making his cheeks rosy. So you'll see all that as we go through, but I will take you step by step on how we go from start to finish on this beautiful little stone that was requested by a customer of mine. So it looks kind of funny right now, but I made kind of like a heart shape, but I left the area for in between the eyes and then for his beak. And now I'm going to paint all of the outside of it black. So even though the white is still wet, I'm being very careful to get as close to the edge as I can. I might end up going over top of it, but that's okay. I can fix it up. But I use the white first because if I do want to clean it up a bit, I'm using black now. So that's when I can do my cleanup and make things look good, because the black will cover up the white almost immediately. I don't really need to do multiple coats, where if I did it in reverse, I would have to use multiple coats of the white to go over top of the black just to get rid of the black color behind it. So that's why I did that. I went with the light color first and then finish off with the dark color. So I made it so that his fins were sticking out, or wings, I guess. I don't know. What is it with the penguin? Are they wings or are they fins? I guess they would be wings, but they don't fly. So they use them for swimming. So that would be fins. I don't know. If you do know the technical term or the correctness of a penguin, I mean, I know I could look it up, but it would be really fun if you could tell me. Leave me a comment below and let me know if it's wings or fins. Because really, the way that I see it is that they could be either or. But wings, I see that they would be used for like flying, but they don't fly. So they use their wings for being in the water. So anyways, I don't want to get too deep into that, but if you know the answer, please drop me a comment and let me know, because I'd be really interested to understand the real part of it. And if you know, that would be awesome if you could let me know. So I'm going in now with my fine lining brush. These are brushes that I found on Temu. I don't know if any of you shop with Temu. You do have to be careful with what you purchase, but a lot of it, especially the brushes, I find are really, really good. So I ordered a bunch of these. They've got a nice thick handle. It's made out of wood, and they come with a metal cap so that it keeps your brushes from spreading out or getting dried out, or you know what I mean? Like they really protect them. So I really like them, and I got them at, like I said, through Temu. So, and that might not be the way that it's said, but that's the way that I say it, is Temu. I've heard it called Temu or something like that. Anyways, I call it Temu. It's good enough for me. So you would have seen me put on some of that shading. Now I'm going in with some white paint, and I am just sort of muting it out. And as I am doing that, I'm also making him look fuzzy. So I am letting my blending brush sort of go over top of the black so that it looks like he's got like fuzzy hair or feathers that are going over top of the black part. So then it gives him a little bit more of some cuteness and cuddliness. So I do that for his belly, and now I'm going to do it for where his eyes will go and on his face. So I'm just using my blending brush that it's one of the smaller ones. They come in a set of 3, and I got these ones from Amazon. So I don't know if I believe there is a link in the description below. But if the link doesn't work, please let me know. Sometimes they switch and they change vendors, or the links are no longer working. So let me know and I can update that and see if I can find them again. But they are like the coolest things. They are 3 in a package. So you've got large, medium, and small. And I love them for blending, especially when you're doing a bigger area. So that's one of my tools that I like to use. So then I use some of that gray and I put it on top of his wings or his fins and I blend it in. and with a little bit of black. And I do go back in and blend it a little bit better because, like I said earlier, black does tend to cover everything up, and that's exactly what it did here when I was just trying to blend it in. So I do come in with more of the gray color and blend it while the black is still wet, so that I can get that visual that there's light shining on him and making it a little bit shiny. And I do the same to the top of his head. But at this time, what I'm doing is I'm really making it look fuzzy to just by using my blending brush. And I'm also using like the edge of my blending brush to do these really smaller areas that are the outline. And I find that works really well as well. And so that's what I'm doing, is I'm just making these areas a little bit fuzzier just by using my blending brush. So it's learning how to use your brushes and how to manipulate them to the way that you want them to, so that you get the effect that you're looking for. And sometimes you don't always have all the tools that you want or that would help you do this. So you've got to figure it out with what you have. And that's exactly what I'm doing, is using my blending brush to do two things: blend and to make it look fuzzy. So it's just all about learning how to use the tools that you have. And if I can give you any kind of tips and tricks along the way as I'm doing these tutorials, then that's a bonus. And I am so happy to be able to bring any kind of tips and tricks to you that can help you do all of your finishing projects. So now I'm putting in his little rosy cheeks, and I'm using a round brush, and I dipped it into the what was that called? Poodleskirt pink. I love the names of these paints. Like, these are, they're so creative. So it's called Poodleskirt pink, and it's by DecoArt. And so I dabbed it into that pink, and then I dabbed it into a little bit of white and put that on. And now I'm using a very small blending brush that I've created myself, and I'm really making those rosy cheeks have a bit of a U kind of shape, so that it's an upside down U, so that it looks like his cheeks are up, because I'm going to give him a little smile. So I do that by his beak, and that's what I'm working on right now. So I want to make it like a little diamond shape, and then I'm going to put some of that pink inside his beak so that it looks like his mouth is open. And then I've got to let that dry. So while that's drying, I'm going to work on his cute little feet. And this is when I'm using that spiced pumpkin color. And I just basically pick my center point, and I make his toes come off from that, or flippers. This is one of the strangest animals ever, because, or mammals, I don't know what, birds, fowl, I don't know. But it's very interesting because are they feet because they walk on land, or are they fins because, or flippers because they're in the water? Same with his wings or his fins. I don't know. Please leave me a comment if you know. I really want to know. So I put on his eyes. I got to let those dry because I'm going to do some top dots on that. And while that's drying, I got to throw in some snowflakes. So there's a very simple and easy way to do these. And I'm just using my dotting stylist. I'm dipping it into white paint, and then I'm just applying the paint without reloading between dots. So that way I'm getting different size dots all around him. And then I let that dry. So now I'm going to go in, I'm going to do a little bit of shading on his toes and on the bottoms of his feet. And all I did was I dipped a little bit of black paint into my spiced pumpkin color, just so that I could get a darker color of the spiced pumpkin. And this will give me the ability to add some shading. And then I used a little bit of white and dipped it into some spiced pumpkin to get a lighter color of it, so that I could add some highlights. And so that's what I am doing right now, just to give some definition to his little toes and to the bottoms of his feet. While I let that dry, I'm going to start to work on his beak again. So I've got to really define the beak from the black of his body. And so I'm just adding in a little bit of white with some black to give it a dark gray color so that I can really show the transition from his feathers or fur to his beak. So that's what I'm doing right now, and just working on getting it blended with my fine lining brush and working away at it to give him a definition so that it looks like it is peeking up in the middle. So one side's going to be lighter than the other side to give that illusion. So because it's such a small area, it's very tedious. And so I work away at it, trying very hard to stay within the lines or at least not get too much into the white. And then I've got to go around the bottom of his beak and give that a little peek as well. So that's what I'm doing here. And then I'm adding in a little bit of his smile. And here I'm just sort of fixing up any of the inside of his beak, so which will be where his tongue is, and just, you know, really working at it to get it to the way that I want it to be. So I want him to be really cute, and I want to get that beak symmetrical, sort of going with, you know, both of the sides, and to give him his little smile to match up with the rosy cheeks. So these are all little things that you got to kind of think of when you're painting and you want to keep things symmetrical. It's all of these little things that, you know, they sometimes, if you don't get them quite right, they don't look quite right. Did I say that right? There's a lot of rights in there. Anyways, so yes, so I play around with this for quite some time. And this video took me about, like to paint this little guy, took me about an hour and a half. So that's just to let you know that even though you're only getting like a 15 to 20 minute video, this is something that I've done over an hour and a half. Drying time is the longest, and you've really got to wait. Sometimes I'm impatient and I don't want to wait, and then I end up with mistakes. So it's always best to let it dry so that you can get to it and not make any kind of boo-boos, and then have to fix them up later, which means that you've got to let it dry anyway. So might as well just do it in the first place. I'm just adding a little bit of shadow on the bottom part here of where he's sitting, and then I'm going to start working on his eyes. So while I do this, I just want to say thanks so much for joining me. And if you're still here, you know what? Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this long. Give me the thumbs up if you like this video. If you're new, please subscribe. It's the best way to let me know that you want to see more of this. And ring the little notification bell. I believe it's working now. It wasn't before, but I think I fixed it. So make sure you ring that little bell. And that's about it. I give him some little eyelashes there, and I'm going to go in with a little white dot to put on his eyes for shine, and then it's finished. So I give it a coat of resin after it's dried, and there you go. So life is what you make it. So get creative.